Is that working?
I think that's working. I need a new mic. First of all, let's do some shopping because this mic sucks. I really want to get, well, the Rodecaster Duo, but also the Rodecaster Pod mic, which is an XLR mic. I've had this mic for a few years. This is like the Yeti something. I don't know. It's a USB mic. And every time I nudge the cable here, you watch me. I have to unplug it and plug it back in for it to work. It's really frustrating. It happens in the middle of like work calls. It sucks. And I have no indication because all the lights work and I don't know. So this is the Pod mic. It's $100. It's an XLR mic, which have never had before, which just means it's analog. It's not digital, right? So it's an analog signal that would plug into this puppy, which is, second, it's like a mixer. I don't have this, but this is what I would get to pair it with. So yeah, the Pod mic would plug into here and I can do all my editing here. And then I've got this nice sound pad so I can like play sounds and bleep fake words, right? I'm excited for that. But anyway, all my mixing and audio editing and gain and all that nonsense would happen on this puppy. And then it would just be ready for my computer to use. It would convert it to digital, send it to the computer, ship it. And that would be it, right? That would just be magical. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get this sometime, but no rush because I'm about to have twins. So I won't be streaming for a while. So there's no rush on this. It just sucks that like my mic just will not work and that's annoying. Yes, you can like plug in 2 microphones into this, a bunch of other stuff, your phone. You can Bluetooth devices to it. It'll be really cool. And now that I've mounted my desktop under my desk, I've got the room up here for it. So that'll be really cool to get something like this. I don't know. This is a lie. I don't have any friends that I would sit in person with, but I'm excited to get this anyway. Yeah, well, no, I don't have this yet. I started the stream shade with my mic muted, which sucked. It's annoying, but... So this will be my replacement. Soonish. We'll see. And this other mic. These 2 pups. So they're on the wish list, and we'll see. Typical. Yeah, skill issues. Typical skill issues. Anyway, I just kind of want to jump right in. We can talk about life. We can talk about whatever, but I really want to get some work done on this new project that I have called fluxctl. I had an idea. I was on a walk thinking, which is rare. And I was thinking about, so I'm on platform engineering. And so we manage like all of the middleware for our developers. The Kubernetes clusters, the ingress, load balancers, even on the legacy stuff, old Apache stuff. Apache's not old, but yeah, just if it's legacy, if it's in Kubernetes, we babysit everything. And I'm doing admission control now, which is really fun. But I was just thinking, like, as an enterprise, like every way that we deploy applications, any config change, all of that stuff. I know Apache is ancient, but it's still like current. It's still like being developed. So I don't want to say that it's like a legacy tool because Apache's still cool. Nginx is cool. But anyway, I was just thinking, like, we use kubectl. We like deploy to Kubernetes via the CLI, via YAML, manifests, and we can use Helm to compile those manifests for Kubernetes. But still, it's all via the CLI. And I was just thinking, what's keeping me from deploying things on Flux in just my day-to-day? There is no CLI to deploy to Flux. You have to go through the GUI. And so I was just thinking, like, from an enterprise lens, that's what, like, if Lumen tomorrow wanted to deploy everything on Flux, we just, like, the biggest blocker would be we would have to completely change how we deploy. There is no CLI to deploy directly. And then that got my brain juices going. So I've got this idea to create fluxctl. And if you've used Kubernetes, you know kubectl. And it's how you manage Kubernetes clusters. I currently don't have a cluster in my house to play with to show you kubectl. But Kubernetes has this architecture, and I could just pull it up. I'm new to Obsidian, and so I've been playing with Excalidraw inside of Obsidian. So I made this. This is really cool. And so here's kind of the gist of my idea. If you know anything about Kubernetes, this is the gist. Is inside of Kubernetes, you have the entire cluster, which is everything, right? In Flux's case, that's all of Flux, like mainnet or even testnet, I guess, technically is a second cluster, right? So we have 2 clusters. And then in Kubernetes, you have a namespace, which is just a way of grouping resources. There's a lot of stuff that can exist inside of Kubernetes. Different types of deployments, service accounts, just all kinds of objects. Actually, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff over here. Services, ingresses, config maps, volumes, all kinds of stuff, object types. I think they're called resources, can exist. And if you just want to sort of organize them, you put them in a namespace. So you could have a namespace for, I don't know, a specific service, and that service has a database pod that runs the front end of the service or whatever, and then you just want that to be in the service namespace, and then you have another namespace for something else, and it's all in the same cluster, right? So a namespace is just a way of plopping stuff in a grouping. And so in Flux, that would be like your Zell ID, right? It's like, who owns the app? Because one Zell ID, one person, can deploy a bunch of different apps, a bunch of different stuff. And so they want to see all their stuff in their Zell ID namespace for fluxctl. And then you have pods. There's a lot more stuff than just pods, but that's kind of eventually things run as pods if it's a workload that's running. In Kubernetes, I'm using my hands like you can see. I'm used to this angle. I moved my camera a little bit, so I'm using my hands. Maybe I can do this. The pod right there. There we go. I'll do this when I talk with my hands because I really love talking with my hands. Pods are just, pods can have one or multiple containers running inside of them. A lot of times one pod runs one container usually, but if you've got like a sidecar, you have your service, and then inside of the same pod, you have like an authentication service that handles authenticating requests and stuff. You put that all in the same pod. So it's one pod, but there can be multiple things that run. And that's the same case in Flux. If you deploy an application, if you like Docker compose your application or whatever, you can have one application be several Docker containers running on Flux. But it's the same single instance of an application, right? You're running a database container and you're running a front end, all in one like application deployment on Flux. So that's a grouping over there. And then yeah, you just at the end of the day, the things that do things, you have containers. Hey Josh, how's it going? I'm laying out the landscape of this fluxctl Go app CLI tool that I'm gonna write. It's basically, ripoff is a strange word, but it's basically kubectl for the Flux ecosystem. Anyway, just a CLI tool. But this is how I'm gonna map the things as I build them. The commands that I run, they're going to be sort of structured like this. Not fork, because the kubectl stuff is so different. This needs to be built separately and from the ground up. One service. I'm not sure what you mean. You mean one container as one service? It will feel the exact same, but we can't fork it. There's so much. All of the the Go types. Almost none of it will overlap. And I've started this a little bit, but this is the gist. If you don't know kubectl, it's hard to dive in. But like I said, I've been using Obsidian, which is really cool. So I've just kind of mapped out. I'm trying to navigate now. Like, this is how it works. You have kubectl. It talks to the the Kubernetes API of your cluster, and a bunch of authentication and crap happens. And then if you authenticate correctly and you're authorized against certain services or certain namespaces, you can do stuff against these types of objects. And so I was just thinking over here, sort of in the Flux ecosystem, it's going to be the same thing. You have fluxctl that's going to call the Flux API, right? This is exactly the exact same APIs that the front end is going to call when you click around in the GUI and deploy, via the GUI. All the same services. Again, I made this stuff up. This is all just a bunch of bullcrap until it's not bullcrap. But yeah, so here's like a familiar list of commands that kubectl has that we want to use in the Flux ecosystem. We want to get what are all the applications that I own. I wanted to look at the logs of one of my database containers that's running on Flux. I want to exec in, or I want to attach to a container. So I want to run commands. My front end is being wonky, and I want to like troubleshoot in production, right? I want to get a shell into that container instance and poke around and look at the environment variables and see what the heck is going on. You can do that in kubectl. So I would like to have something similar to get you access to your Flux instance of containers. CP, that's copy. I want to just copy a file up into a container, or copy a file from a container locally, right? If I'm running a Minecraft server and I don't know, I want to just back up the world file, I can just copy it remotely to my local machine, right? Why do we need this compared to what we have now? So second, yeah, so I'm thinking about this. Obviously anyone that uses Flux could use this, but I'm seeing this, the lack of this tool, fluxctl, as a barrier of entry for enterprises to adopt deploying things to the Flux ecosystem. Everything that we do just at my job, like no one deploys manually or directly. They edit a config file, a YAML file, and tag a git pull request, and that gets merged in, and that kicks off a Jenkins pipeline or a Argo CD pipeline. That's going to automatically like build and test and then deploy that container out to Kubernetes, and just by committing a file, their application's updated, right? They don't even have to Docker build or anything, right? And that's how businesses run if they're doing businessy things. So I see, like, if my company was going to start using Flux, it would be a huge barrier of entry to take all the nerds out of the terminal, which is where they work and live, and say, oh, to deploy, you have to use this GUI. Like, I love using the CLI. I never want to leave my terminal. I want to kubectl. I want to deploy things to Kubernetes clusters with the CLI. And I want to look at logs with the CLI. And I don't want to click in a browser. And a lot of enterprise solutions and developers are the same way. So I see this as a tool for the individual super nerds, but also, like, this is expected, in my opinion, for us to start potentially onboarding enterprises, right? In my opinion. So there's more commands here. None of these exist, but ideally we would make some of these and just slowly build out more fluxctl commands. So with that preface, I've got a few of the commands built. So this is the Go app. I'm using something called Cobra, which is a way of structuring writing CLI tools in Go. So, for example, do I have fluxctl? Cool, look, I've got a local, like, it's not built much at all, but here's the proof of concept. If I run fluxctl with no args, you get a little description. Eventually, you'll see, like, a bunch of commands, right? We have completion, we have config, we have get, and we have help. Those are all the commands that exist at the moment. Yeah, Jeff K, or even your nodes. Like, in the UI, you can do a lot of things. If you have a deployment that's, you have an application deployed and it's on 3 nodes, and for whatever reason, the instance of the app that's on node number 3 just sucks. It's not working, whatever. In Kubernetes, you can delete nodes. So the idea would be, I want to not delete that node from Flux, but like remove that node from running my app. And then Flux would just spin it up on another node. And then I can see that node and see its resource usage and the benchmarks of the node, like just right in my CLI, right? No need to rebuild the Docker image and then push it. Well, you would yourself, but as a business, that's all automated, right? For example, me deploying this fluxctl, you can come and install this. This is on GitHub. Did I get rid of? I don't have the github.com tech Dufus fluxctl. Oop, not stargazers. Out here, you can already install fluxctl. If you have Go, you can just go install that command. Poof, it'll install. Because I already have an automated release pipeline that when I tag in this repo a new version and pull request it, GitHub automation will automatically build fluxctl for Mac OS, Linux, ARM64, Windows, and you can just install it right now. And I have automation that's automatically building the application. When it comes to like deploying an actual app and pushing it out into a cluster, it's the exact same thing. We have automation that watches GitHub. As soon as there's a change, it's going to build, test, deploy, all via the CLI. All with fluxctl. I'm going to deploy stuff. Does the Flux node already have a kube control panel on it? I'm not sure what that means exactly. Mac support, my coworker will be happy. Well, I don't use the Mac, but I'm using this tool called GoReleaser, which is just a way to release Go applications, and it's going to automatically build and compile for each OS. Let's look at that real quick. So this is just GitHub. Let's look at GoReleaser. So this is exactly what we have, like would have it work. It's just a YAML file or something that defines what you want some automation to do. So when I tag this repo, like, oh, I'm going to release version, 0.0.4 or whatever. This is going to use Ubuntu, check out the repo, set up Go inside of the container, and then it's going to pull GoReleaser, and GoReleaser is going to create a release. And so GoReleaser is what builds it for each operating system. And then because it's got my GitHub secret baked into this repo, it knows how to publish the release to my GitHub account. Can Flux nodes already accept kube deployments? No. So Kubernetes itself is a container orchestration platform, right? It's what babysits containers in a cluster. FluxOS is basically just like it. It's a decentralized container orchestration platform. So you can't just drag and drop how you deploy the Kubernetes into Flux, right? But maybe with a tool like fluxctl, that would be a lot easier to do. I'm talking just the apps that are deployed to Flux right now, being able to have a YAML file. It's all the same information you'd give the UI. What are your environment variables? What's the path to the Docker image? What ports are you going to expose? What's the name of your deployment? All of that info, right? That you already give the Flux UI when you deploy an app. That'll just be in your YAML file. And then something like fluxctl. Well, let me just do it. In Kubernetes, if you had a YAML file that had all that information, so same thing with Flux, you would just fluxctl, apply -f for a file, and then I don't know, minecraft.yaml. And then that minecraft.yaml has all the information. Fluxctl, I would have already had to authenticate somehow with some local file. Kubernetes does the same thing. You have your kube config, which has like the IP of the cluster. if you're going to use a certificate to ensure, you know, it's TLS encrypted Kubernetes API calls. And then like, what's your token, or how are you authenticating specifically? There's a lot of authentication questions that are just not answered at the moment. I haven't gotten that far. I'm just going to start with building out fluxctl commands that are like read only, right? Just stuff that anyone could make this API call. No Zell ID, no nothing. You can just read the blockchain to see what's deployed, who owns it, what are the nodes, what are their IPs, like all of that information. I want fluxctl to like fluxctl get apps or something. And that would just show me every app, right? And then eventually bake in the concept of the namespace, right? The owner. Maybe we'll still call it namespace. I have no idea. But I would do like -n and then whatever Dufus Zell ID is. And then it would show me just the apps that are owned by that Zell ID instead of all of them, right? Or I could get nodes on a Zell ID and see all the nodes that are deployed to a single Zell ID. Just all that stuff, right? You can get this information in a GUI, in a UI somewhere, or just with the direct API calls, but not in your terminal, not in a nice, pretty terminal-y way. And that's what this is going to solve, is all these, just be able to run these commands. Anyway, let me check. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yeah, so I've got some scaffolding already built using Cobra. So this is the root command. So if you just run fluxctl, this run is what it runs. If you run fluxctl by itself, it just runs the help, right? Fluxctl, here's the help information. Here's a description. Here's where the project lives. Under development, please be gentle. And then here's some commands. So Cobra is this Go library, Cobra here, that makes it really easy to build and structure CLI tools so that the help is like automatically built for you, stuff like that. For example, do I add, yeah, this is something I want to change. Command. Because these are their own package. Oh, thanks for the explanation. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, well, I hope it makes sense because this is just some stupid idea I had. And I just like needed to get it out. So I've built some of this already. So where am I at? I think I want to restructure how I'm doing the packaging. So this is a command object for the config command. And what that means is, you see here, I have available commands config. So let's run fluxctl config. Well, I get a little message, you must specify a command for config, and then it shows me the help for fluxctl config. What's an available command? Oh, there's a view command and a help flag. There are no other flags at the moment, right? Fluxctl config view. It defaults. I need to fix this. This sucks. I'm not gonna mess with config because that assumes we're like needing to authenticate and you have to store that stuff locally. So I built out, this is what I started with. I'm gonna scrap continuing to work on anything that has to do with authentication. So I'm gonna start building out commands like get, which there's nothing in here at the moment. It doesn't do anything, just shows the help. But get what? Get applications, get nodes, and just start very basic. We can already read this stuff. We just have to build wrappers around the APIs that already exist for Flux. So I need to pull up the docs, I guess. Is it docs.ononflux.io? I don't really know where the API docs are. Holy moly. Authentication, cool. So apps, see, list all apps, list running apps. This will show us, you know, the endpoints and things. Yeah. Getting started with the API. Install a Zelcore wallet, create a Zelcore account. I'm not going to authenticate anything. Zeloth header. Yeah, I'm not going to header anything because we're not going to, we don't need to log in. So I don't really care about public API. Available without any permission, does not require signing. Cool. That's exactly what we want. So where is that? Is that broken out at all? Let's list all running apps. So I guess this would be like api.runonflux.io/get list all apps. Did not get list all apps. Did I type that right? Oh. Exactly this, right? So my Go would reach out, grab the, you know, the unauthenticated response that I get. I don't have to authenticate to get this data. And then I'm going to need to build out what this data looks like from Flux into Go and then be able to show it on the terminal real pretty, right? The music is dope, bro. Yeah, this is Harris Heller. I don't know. It's his Legend album. I just hope, I'm a loud person, so I try to make sure I'm louder than the music. And so if the music's ever too loud, tell me, because I don't know. When I get that mixer, I'll be able to plug my headphones into it and like hear myself directly from the analog. I could do that now in Windows, but then you guys would hear it. So like having that Rodecaster, I think will be really cool if I can figure it all out. But yeah, anyway. So I'm gonna snag this and just let's just make a data. Oops. Data get list, no, not get apps. Okay, let me try a trick. What? I can't remember. Run JQ. I can't remember what the command is. Oh, it's exclamation point. I'm stupid. Exclamation point. JQ. Y. Data apps. Fine. Do I have JQ? Yeah. Data apps. Do I need to save first? Yeah, so that's what I wanted to do. Data 0, the heck? Weird. I basically want it to format this JSON automatically. But I'll just copy paste it because why not? There. So now these are the JSON objects I got back from that call. Hey, Hort. How's it going? So we get a status of the call and then a data list, it looks like. And then so for each object, it has ID, names, image. So I got to build this object type. This can't be everything. So ID names and then ports is a list of objects that look like this. So this would be a port object. All right, so I got to build this. Glad to see these again. Yeah, well, I'm hoping they don't, but soon they'll fall off the wayside once the twins come in like a month. Yay. Oh, that's going good. We had a doctor appointment this morning. Like, every single possible piece of news or data point that could be measured about these twins, we have gotten it could not be better news when it comes to twins. They're die twins. And all that means is all the twins have all their own plumbing. They're all in they're in their own placentas. They're in their, like, there's a membrane, but like they're completely separate. So they're not going to be identical, which is just the healthiest, least complicated way to have twins. Their weights are exactly where they should be. They're both head down. The one that's going to come out second is a little smaller, so the first one paves the way. It's just like all the stars are aligning. Jesus is great to us. And yeah, just all of the news is perfect. There's a million things to measure and whatnot, and a million things that could go wrong, but it's all great. But my lovely wife is very uncomfortable. So that's a thing, but we'll get there. So like 3 to 4 weeks. We were thinking 2 to 3 weeks, but we remeasured today and stuff, and now it's 3 to 4 weeks. So they're coming soon. But yeah, I would love to stream some more. That'd be great. Uterus T object. That is funny. That's really funny, caveman. Pseudo T object. Because I don't know. I don't know why you'd pseudo that, but okay. So we get this back. So I need to come into command get. And so inside of here, I'm gonna do a Cobra add get. I don't have Cobra. The heck? Oh, add. Yeah, add. Get. Fine, I'll do it myself. Oh, get is already here. Oh, apps. Apps is what I wanted. No such file or directory. I'm telling you to make it. Oh well. Okay, so get. Let me just do apps.go. Package get. Yep. So get apps. Display one or more apps. Let's just. I don't know what this will be yet. So the information that I give to these and I plug them in here, this just like automatically builds help documentation and stuff. So that's why Cobra's really cool. So this is going to be apps. It's not going to be here. It's going to be get. I'm just building out some really crap scaffolding right now. I'll need init, and then we'll need get command. Where's get? New get command. How am I doing this? Oh, it's get. Oh, it's here. Okay. Okay. Apps. New command get apps. And then inside of init, I'm going to say get dot new command get apps. Will stash be shaved when the twins are born? Will that be the awakening? Awakening to what? Are you saying you don't like the stash? The stash means I'm really, really good with children. So I think I should keep it. I don't know, maybe. That's probably like, what's the joke? No, it's not a joke, but like a lot of times when women get married, they like cut their hair real short. They just like do something with their hair for like a big life change or something. My wife did that too, so I'm speaking from experience. But I think I might keep it. Law enforcement. I have had people genuinely ask if I am a police officer. My brother is/was a police officer, so that's kind of funny. I also have people say that I look like oh gosh, what's the show? I can't remember the show. Some show where there's some cop that has a super mustache, aviators. I don't know, but I've never seen it, so that's why it doesn't stick. Okay, I'm gonna switch to here. Maybe this will be easier to read. If you like seeing my hands and they're out of view, let me know. I'll change it back, but I was playing with my camera. Blah, blah, blah. I wish I had my motorcycle. I don't have my motorcycle anymore. So root command, add command, get. I guess I'm just going to have to add it here. Init, and then I'm going to have new command get dot add command. Yeah. Whoops. F here. Oh, this probably needs a comma. Let's go. What? Oh, init is a function. Apps. Yeah. I shouldn't need this. New command get apps. Command. Undefined new command get apps. That's literally what I have over here. Oh, can't save this file. So I'll do that, and then this needs to be new command get dot add command. Where are you talking about? Oh. Okay, so this is... What file is this? This is apps. So get apps command short. Get apps command short. Dude, error. What error are you talking about? 15. That's annoying. Sorry. Midwest Pedro Pascal. Yeah. Merit equals no more motorcycle. I got rid of the motorcycle when we moved to Illinois, just so I didn't have to deal with it. And yeah, kind of. It's just like, I don't want to die with kids. So maybe someday. So it would be fun, but what if I died and left all of my family? That would not be fun. How did I do config? Okay, finally. So go run main.go. That's the equivalent of running fluxctl at this point, just without having to publish and stuff. So then get so I should see here, I'm probably not registering the command properly. I think I want undefined. Get apps command short. What the crap are you talking about? If I run just this, I get the help, and the help should register. How many gift subs to get you to write this in Python? Oh man, I haven't written Python in a while. I saw, actually funny that you bring up Python. I saw recently I don't know what you call it. What is up with? Sorry, hang on. I'm distracted. Hang on, one sec. Let me check something. Good there. Cool. Cool. Okay. Oh, so the Python thing. I saw someone write a library, not a library. I guess it's more like a, I don't know what you would call it. It's not a compiler, but something that like pre-interprets your Python so that you can write Python with curly braces instead of white space. And then it will figure out the white space to give based on the scope of the curly braces. And that's what Python should be, writing it with curly braces. I just can't get on board with I can't get on board with the white space thing. I don't know. I just can't do it. So, no thank you. No thank you. Okay, I am not registering this command properly. Let me command. Please return the commands. Get, new command get, add command, new command get apps. But this is not being added. How did I do this with config? Oh, I do it here inside. That's really annoying to me. Okay, whatever. We'll just do it for now. So inside of get, right down here is where I would do it. I'll get rid of this. So command dot add command. Yep, there we go. There. So now when I run fluxctl get, now the dynamic help information and everything recognizes that apps is a sub command of get, right? I had a buddy ask me to do a project in Python for him, and I learned enough just to do that. Then to find out he actually needed it in R and not Python. How? This sounds like a, I don't know. It kind of sounds like a you problem. Did they specifically say Python, or did you assume? That sucks. Yeah, I hate Python indenting. Yeah. Oh, Josh, I'm done with the dishes. Put the boys to sleep. Yeah, good luck with that. I have no idea how ours are doing. My lovely wife just said, go stream. I will take it. And I'm just like, God bless you. So, I have no idea if my boys are asleep. So I've got two boys, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and I've got twins in a month. So, that's where I'm at with life. Okay. All right. So get apps. So now we're calling this function. What's going on over here? Let's just zoom in on fluxctl. Why not? All right. Fibonacci children. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, everything's going good with them. So I shared already, but we've gotten just nothing but great news about everything. So it's great. So get apps. When I run that, it will just run this command, get apps. But ideally we would have a some type of package for I don't want to manually grab let me just come to big validation. I don't know, something called APIs. Public apps. .go. I don't know. Package APIs. I don't care about import, but var. Wow, there we go. Var. Let's just go with apps. I don't like this. I don't like this, but we're doing it. So I'll clean this up later. Do a single letter just for fun. No thanks. I do single letters on like receiver functions, if you know anything about Go. The way you make like objects is to make a function that's a receiver function to a struct type, but I'll use single letters for that. But okay, so apps. What the heck file is this? Okay, so here let's do a APIs dot apps dot list all apps. Don't love this. I'm not going to keep it this way. But where did I? I never used it. So what I would do is over here, I would import package APIs. Apps. Wait, public. What is happening? The heck am I? Okay. This will be apps. I guess. No, put it back. So this will give me this function. So if we come to apps, list all apps, listing all apps. Cool. So I should be able to run that. Provides package. Package APIs public apps. Oh. Yes, it was my fault. I should have recognized it wasn't Python and instead went, well, this is all wrong. Yeah. I mean, it's skill issue, right? It's not like when salespeople sell products that your company doesn't even do, and then it's your fault as the engineer, right? It's, you know, skill issue. Just do better. Crap. I want apps. Don't even need this. And then apps, list all apps. Oh, it's package APIs. So I'm going to call this package apps. Yep. Yep. Is that what I need? Package APIs, public apps. Dufus, fluxctl, package. APIs, public, apps, apps. Well, what's the problem? Fine. I shouldn't have to commit that, so let's just call this APIs, and then come here. Let's do apps is a map of string, and let's just be done. Then let's go apps equals, yeah, list all apps. I want to build just a little table. I probably don't need this type. I'll just do var public API equals map. And this will be a same thing. There we go. So now I should be able to come over here and not care about this. See if it's broken. Oh. Apps. Okay, so I need to come to apps and fix my this thing. It's just APIs. No. APIs. Source. APIs. Broke now. Okay, so that's working. Oh, it doesn't like this. I think. Yeah, different error. Yay. Cannot use map string value of map string as string value in map literal. So all that's yelling about is this. Type yeah, this is cool. It usually bugs me, but it hasn't been distracting yet. I usually go for like the chill lo-fi stuff. But yeah, this has been good. Can I use apps? Oops. Oh. Public APIs. Okay, I'm going to fix this then. This is just going to be a apps, and then apps is going to be a API apps. Oh, it needs to be. I see. List all apps string. Find apps. Okay. Public API apps. Have a public APIs. Expected declaration. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, public API. Okay, all right. Interesting. I'm doing the same apps and then expected declaration. I don't understand this. Those, they equal that, and this closes that off. I am confusion. I'm saying public APIs equals an instance of public API, which has apps of type apps. This is still true. Apps is of that type. Public API apps. And then public API apps has list all apps, and then this is going to need to be expected declaration. I don't understand. So we're here. Yeah, because I should just be able to. Uh-oh. You're a bigger doofus. Why? I think this needs to be var. Public API. Invalid type. Why? Cannot use public API. Value of public API as public API apps. Oh. There. Just am. Yeah, I agree. I agree. For what it's worth. Just kidding. All right. So that's there. That means now we can go back to apps. APIs, list all apps, and then we could have something like, eventually I want to abstract away all these get calls. Net HTTP, this returns. So let's just please unmarshal and print. I want data. I should. Response. What else did this return? This returned. Oh, and an error. Cool. GoLang is interesting. Yeah, gosh, I haven't unmarshaled in a while. So unmarshaled person. So I've already got var. Oh, I think I will just print the JSON as is. So I'm gonna just return response, and then this needs to return HTTP response dot. What's on the response? Status body, which is a IO closer. Yeah, I've got my tea. I've got 2 tea bags in here right now, so I'm double tea bagging over here. I want to try getting I don't know what you call it. It's like a French press with like a filter, and it's like loose leaf tea. Josh was telling me about it earlier. And then I don't know, you can drink out of those or pour them in something else. But yeah, there's a bunch of tea bags, and I bought some, and a lot of them have extra stuff in it, like stevia, and I don't care about that stuff. I just want my caffeine in something that's not coffee, and tea has way less caffeine. So I haven't drank coffee in a couple weeks. I'm alive, but yeah, so I'm trying tea. I've been drinking tea for a while. I like it. Some of the tea I bought isn't great, and it's because there's a bunch of stuff in it. Like, it tastes like there's a film when I drink the tea. I don't know how else to explain it, but I taste this weird stuff, and I think it's just like they add sweetener to my tea. I love the taste of coffee, and I am so looking forward to when I drink some again, but I really just want to fast from it for a while. And so the next time I have it, it's like an LSD trip or something. Like, I want coffee to mean something physiologically to me again. I love coffee, and I would drink like a pot of coffee a day. I love the taste, not really realizing how much, not caring how much caffeine I would drink, right? So, yeah, trying to drink tea to just feel coffee again someday. So that's that. So that's my tea journey. My tea bag story. All right. Okay. So, I want to... I don't have something to unmarshal it into yet, but I could start looking through this. So I'm gonna unmarshal it into some type, and then I can print stuff. Cool. So var apps, I guess, or app. No, apps. No, it's probably gonna have to be this. So I need a new type. List all apps, and it needs, I'm so sorry, I just grabbed my mouse to do that. Oh my gosh. Status, string status, perfect. Data is a slice, but I'm gonna just call it data, and it's gonna be JSON data. App data. Coffee variations are smart. Unfortunately, I can't take my own advice. Yeah, I accidentally didn't drink. So this wasn't just like, I just decided to do this. I accidentally didn't drink coffee one day, and in the evening, I felt disgusting. I had the worst headache. I felt like trash. And then I got angry, like accidentally not drinking some magic hot bean water makes me feel this way. I need to shake that. And I got angry how crappy I felt because I just accidentally didn't drink coffee that day. So that's when I realized, like, oh my gosh, like I drink way too much of this. I need to cool it for a while. But even like the most caffeine that I can find in tea is still like a third of the amount of caffeine in coffee that I make. I make coffee so strong. What's the joke? Like I can stand a spoon up in my coffee. That's what people say when you make strong coffee. I don't know why they say that because it's not true. That's disgusting. But I make really strong coffee and it tastes amazing. I like to pour over. I've got a electric kettle that I pour over my coffee. It's really good. But holy cow, it's so much caffeine, and I just drink so much caffeine. So, yeah. All right, so status, data, big D data, and then I need to make a new type, app data, and so this is going to be ID, I guess ID, which is going to be JSON ID, and then names is going to be a slice of strings. Oops, no comma, cool. Image, cool, string, image ID. Oh my gosh, come on, Copilot, get it. Ports is going to be, let's just do app data ports, good one. So now we need a new type up here, type app data ports, and this is going to be IP, private port, public port, type. Get it, Copilot. Okay, so then there's ports. Whoops, I almost grabbed my mouse again. Ports, anything after ports? Private port type. Private port, public port. Okay, so I think there's a omit empty. Yeah. Private port type. And actually I don't trust that. GoLang struct JSON ID omit empty quote. Okay, comma, cool. IP omit empty thing. I'm assuming these all could be empty, so I'm just gonna assume that. Type, I think they all have types, so I'm gonna leave that, I guess. I don't see one without a type. Looks mandatory to me. All right, labels. How many level teaspoon measurements of grinds do you put in the average size mug? So, I think I put in, so if I have a coffee pot that's 10 cups, I'll put, I don't know, I'll put like 12 tablespoons or more, I guess. Is that a lot? I mean, it fills the filter almost. I do about 3 to 4 level tablespoons. No, not per mug, like a 10 cup pot, like the entire coffee pot. I'll put maybe 12 to 15, I guess. Yeah, no, not a cup. It's literally, that's the standing your spoon up in your coffee type strong. That's funny. Yeah, okay. So we're both junkies. We're both just socially acceptable drug addicts. That's what I say. Yeah, I can't. So I hated coffee for a long time. Map of strings. Map of strings. I guess that's true. I hated coffee my whole life, and then I forced myself to start drinking coffee. And the way I did that was I started with trying to... What's wrong with this file? Invalid type. What are you talking about? Oh. Okay. Cool. So list all apps, redeclared, where? Type list all apps, and it's a function. See, here's where I want something like get JSON, and I'm gonna pass go the endpoint, which will be just a string, and the data type, which needs to be I don't want to say, do I want to say any? So get endpoint, and then JSON data into, pass the generic data type, undefined JSON data. So that takes a byte array. So this needs to be response dot. That's a read closer. Wait, what gets returned? A response. HTTP response dot yeah, it's not body. It's Not request. There, that returns. There. Does it just want it to read? Oh no. Okay. Body is response body, and then body. Yeah, because now body is a byte array. Really? Is it done, Jeff K? No. I'm trying to just get the first endpoint, honestly. I think it's io dot convert HTTP response to coffee vacation. You mean death? It has stripped some joy. Yes. Oh, defer close. Okay. Yeah, read all. I don't want to use IOUtil though, because that's a deprecated IOUtil read all. Check this out. It's gonna, yeah, is deprecated. This function simply calls io.readall. Okay. io.readall. Cool. That's the real one. So body, Marshall body. If there's no error. Oh, if there is an error, return. So we're going to return I don't want it to be any. I want it to be generic. I want it to be not exactly sure how to do a generic type. I'll leave it any for now. And then we return data type? No. We return I don't know if that makes sense. Undefined data type. Any and just error, I guess. Nil error. And if we do respond, body will marshal into data type. Var data I think I'm just jumping the gun. How do I reference its type? I'm gonna undo this. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Endpoint. This will be list public APIs apps, list all apps. Body will be that. Var data will be public API. Where did I do this? List all apps. Data, and then return data nil. Cool. I need all my desks by tomorrow. Okay. Okay. If tomorrow ever comes, Jeff K, you can have it. Okay. Where do I call this? Apps. So apps, get list all apps. Good enough. Error on marshalling JSON. That's something. Unmarshal non-pointer APIs.list all apps. PMs, am I right? Yeah. Oh gosh, that's funny. That's funny. I'm glad I have some nerds on my side. That's really funny. What is it yelling about? List all apps. Type list all apps. Status is a string. App data is data. Non-pointer. Oh. Cannot unmarshal array to go struct field list all apps.data of type APIs.data. So it didn't like it doesn't like this type. List all apps.data into app data. So somehow this doesn't match. I don't know how to move that over. So this will be, let's crack this puppy open. Data. It's a slice. Oh, it's a slice of app data. Yay, new error. Now it's yelling at the ports, of course, because it's a slice of ports. And we got nothing. Cool. Return the data. So this just returns the data. So data equals, and then fmt dot data. I don't know. What's it yelling at me about? Oh. How can I forget? If error not equal to nil. There we go. Do something else. Yes! That means my struct is correct. Right? And this is just printing that out. So let's print out data dot status. Oh, data is any. Oh, I'm stupid. Okay, so this no longer can be any. This needs to be public API apps, right? No. It needs to be a list all apps. Cannot use nil as a list all. Where is this? $55. A true PM would have asked for updates at least twice by now. Well, to be fair, this is the first time I've worked on this. So, okay, so now this is of type, yeah, list all apps. So data is of that type. So now we have status, which is a string. Cool. So what is this? Can I use nil? Oh, it's complaining about this. There. So now we have the data back from this anonymous thing, this public API, and we can reference this. So I can say data dot let's just grab the first one. All right, the very first app, and there it is. And so we want the first app dot the ID. So yay, we're calling a Flux API to get where is that browser? Here it is. We just implemented list all the running apps. This doesn't make sense because there's a lot of apps running, but yeah, I don't know. This is the endpoint. Success or error. Oh, cool. Oh, and it tells me the object. Array of strings. Yeah. All right. I'm going to pull this up right over here. Jeez. Authentication. Okay, it's login phrase. We can skip all the auth stuff. Log out. So we just did, yeah, apps, list all apps. Super cool. Obviously, like the more that we do this, the more like abstractions that we'll put in, like wrapping the call dynamically. So eventually everything will make one get call that gets past a bunch of crap. And these will all just be wrappers around our custom public get call. Dynamically unmarshal and return the type. I was trying to do this earlier, but it's fine to do it this way for now. So this is apps. So get list all apps. I guess I could do another function. Get list apps images. Takes nothing. Let's just pretend. Oh, I don't care about that. Let's look at installed apps. Let's say, because list all apps specifically as running apps, right? Which I'm just thinking of like some flags. If we did like a fluxctl get apps, what should that be by default? Should that be running apps? I think so. For, you know, owned by a specific person or something like that. But that would probably be running apps, in my opinion. Main.go get apps. That'll just list them all. Not at the moment, but because we're doing this stuff. Actually, now I want to look into some sort of like formatter. Charm, CLI, yeah. I know Charm has a ton of tools for this stuff. I've never used tools from Charm, so I don't really know what they have. Is this the right Charm? I don't think so. Ooh, jeez. Okay, it is Charm Bracelet. TUI framework. It's not really what I want. Render Markdown. Meh. Terminal prompts. Meh. Maybe I'll look at bubble tea. Let me just see. Oh my gosh, it's just like bright to me. Display data with columns. I don't know. Something stupid. See, then you got to format it yourself. I don't want to do that. I want well, how does kubectl do this? That's what I want to know. I've cloned kubectl. So let's go to like package command get table printer. Look at that. Print object, decode into table. Interesting. A row, a table row. They literally make their own table thing. That'll be super fun. Dang. Continue, return. This is so, man, this is so awesome how they do this. They make these generic types that dynamically can grab the type that it's being represented, if that makes sense. And then it will copy, yeah, deep copy. I'm gonna go to the, yeah. Jeez, they have so many, so they have a receiver function for what, each type of object for an admission policy binding. So let's go to this is how it looks. And here's the structure of a policy binding. Policy name, match resources, validation actions, and like then this generic object becomes an instance of this interface, blah, 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 Go magic. But this is like Go's object orientation, is you can have like, they've got so many instances of deep copy object defined, but they're receiver functions to different objects. So depending on what the object is, if it's a admission policy binding, or if it's a pod, or a deployment definition, or whatever it is, depending on what the object is, if that has that receiver function defined on that object, when you call, it's the exact same function name, but it will call that object's implementation of the function. What I mean by that is, if we do a jump back here, depending on the object you give it, it will call the appropriate, I think it's here. So you can see here, this is called deep copy object, but it's attached to an external namespace type. And the type 2, and then external type, all these weird things. Admission review, policy binding list, a webhook. So if all these instances of these objects that kubectl could display data for, they've got it generically wrapped and then create a table out of the object's properties and format that stuff. Just dynamically based on the object type. That's wild to me. I'm not going to be able to build that today, obviously. But man, that's really cool. And you can see they all kind of look the same. If C equals in.deepCopy, blah, blah, blah. If it's not nil, return it. Otherwise, return nil. Like, even though it all looks the same, it's still really powerful that all these functions, they are technically different implementations, and they could be different depending on the object type, right? Replica sets, all the different objects that exist, all the different resource types that exist in Kubernetes, they can wrap and then like dynamically format. It's wild. Really cool. Decode. Yeah, it's a runtime object. Just a generic. And then they shove that data into the cell eventually. Events are different, I guess. And then once that loop is done, return the whole table. Make a blank table. And then for each row, depending on what type of data it is, what values there are. Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. So what if I had a... Theirs is really cool because it's almost generic, right? They have so much reused code. But what if I did something like... not here. Well, I want to come into... Whoops. What is happening? I don't understand. So list all apps, and what if I had like a, get out of here, func format list all apps, and this would take in a slice of list all apps, and then yep, let's print data dot if data dot status is not equal to success, error. Otherwise, data dot data print the header, print all those. It's gonna look ugly. I don't want this to return anything. Just nothing. Data.data undefined. Is that what I want? No, I'm just gonna go over that. Cool. And then here, in the actual apps command where we run this, we're gonna get our JSON back, and then I want to APIs dot format. Yep, format list all APIs with data dot data. Looks gross, but that's the idea. Is the first value is that, the second value is for names, the third value is image. Okay, let's just look at what's here, because this is interesting. Folding at home, a pre-search node, Flux Watchtower. I wonder what's weird about this endpoint that I'm not understanding, because this isn't everything. So, like everything running on Flux. List all images, installed apps, available apps. See, there's all kinds of info that we can grab. But anyway, this is kind of a success. We're pulling some data, pseudo formatting it, I guess. Let's cherry pick. Let's cherry pick some of this stuff. What I mean by that is in kubectl, let's just do fluxctl get apps. You have this output flag, and then I can say output it as YAML or output like wide, and that will list all the data. But by default, it will just list the main things. Like maybe we don't need labels, state, status, command, right? We just want like the names and the image and the state, maybe by default. And then if you add this O flag wide, it'll print like this ugly gross thing. Eventually we'll format it properly, but that's kind of the idea, is we'll just have it like that. So let's do that. Let's try to find a way to format. First of all, we should add the command dot flags dot string. Oh. Name, value, usage. Table, let's just do wide. Let's have a default to default. Okay, cool. So we have these flags. We have this flag now. And so I can say if command dot flags O equals default. No, I don't want to do this. I want that, and then I want to pass output. So command dot flag O string, super cool. So now this function is going to get two arguments. It's going to get the data and then the format. Super cool. Case format equals default. Am I not casing properly? I don't use cases very often. It just seems cooler than using a do I need a default? Oh, a switch. Switch, format. And now the only problem is that these functions don't exist. So we've got format, apps, default. So headers equals. Yeah. Status, state. Let's get rid of labels, ports, created, command. And let's get rid of the ID. Take in the data. App names. Cool. And now we need what were they all? Come on. Header declared and not used. Okay. So depending on the format that I give, we'll pick a format. Let's see. Get apps by default. It'll be big and ugly. Oh, my default is the short one. Yeah, super cool. So by default, format it like that. So flux candy, that's the image. Running is the state, and then up 6 days is the status. Or I can do O wide. And it'll give me everything, right? Unknown shorthand flag. Oh. What do I give an alias? Name, value, usage. Oh, string is like string. String P is like string, but accepts a shorthand. So that's what I want. I want it to be called output, but like also accept -O. Great. I broke it. Where did this break? Apps.go 32. There. So output wide, output default. Super fun. Heck, we could even do JSON. Right? That's not implemented. But if we did that, we would just let's come here. Let's do a case for JSON. This is not how this should look long term. I'm just doing this quick and dirty. So JSON Marshall. And then, yeah, data is a slice of app data. Cool. Give me the JSON. So super cool. This is great. We strip out a little bit of, we're ripping out the status from the Flux API call and just giving the JSON of the data itself, right? So that's cool. So we're building something. Yay. Manipulating data. That's cool. It's not super great. Like they're doing this stuff dynamically with that table magic. That was awesome. That will take a lot of work to do. But this is the gist, is this one file is all the stuff for the apps endpoint. List all apps, list all images, whatever. And then we'll have another file for the whatever else is in here. Calculate price, apps. These all look like apps. Yeah, so we'll have a file for apps, Explorer, sync thing status, I guess, Flux share status, Flux. This is interesting. Start and stop applications. These require authentication, right? Probably. Benchmarks. Not a lot of these. No, this one would be my brain just stopped. This would be unauthenticated. Gosh, my stupid brain. It's late. Yeah, so here, this would just, we would need to look up the nodes owned by an app of yours and then go and make us like a sub API call to grab their bench status if you ran a command that needed to grab that data, right? Like fluxctl get nodes for your Zell ID or for your app, or, whatever. This is good. Get apps. I need to format more dynamically. There are libraries this is what I need to look into next, is instead of like manually grunting through this ugly stuff, the columns should be dynamic based on how long the data is that's in them, right? Or even like that ID was super long. I have a rule on the ID field. If it's longer than X, concatenate it, right? There's got to be a library that can help out with that. So I'm going to look into that a little bit. You know what? I should write this down. I should be taking notes. So fluxctl readme. I've got some to-do items. So docs. I spell that word right. So create some docs for fluxctl itself eventually, right? And ideally, when I update the docs, let's say we have like a docs in the repo, if that directory ever changes, automatically recompile however the site is going to look for the docs, exactly like what Flux is doing for their API site, and then re-push the docs. Maybe it's hosted on Flux itself, right? So that would be cool. And so I'm doing this now. I made a note, like this is probably really small. Can I zoom in on Obsidian? Sick. Yeah, so the first commands need to just be like read only. I started with messing with the config. Like, oh, let's just out of the gate do private key, immediate authenticated stuff. It's like, no, just like try to ship some JSON and read it and just go from there. So yeah, we're like, do as much as I can with all of the public read only stuff. How much coolness can we get away with before we ever have to ask a user using fluxctl to like store a token locally or store a key, whatever keys we need, right? Before we ever do that, just have fluxctl like get you your info in a really cool way. So that's the goal. What the heck else did I say? Dynamic data formatter. Let me do fluxctl. Let me just put this here. Oops. Dynamic data formatter. Get out of here. For maybe charm lib. So something that's gonna automatically move columns depending on what data you're reading and the length of them, and default headers for that data type, right? Because like listing the apps is gonna have different columns than obviously listing just the images or listing just the like the benchmark stats of a node, or like all that's going to look different. And so try to build out a way to just one, dynamically format, then eventually like really maybe piggyback off of like kubectl doing like tables and rows, and dynamically build all the row one is all the headers, and loop over the headers for that object type depending on if it's default or wide. And then whichever headers you have, loop over each object you're given and extract the value with that deep copy function. That deep copy is a Go term for copying, like it's like reflection, I guess, in Go. Dynamically copy out the data for whatever header name is, and then slowly build all these cells, and then somehow that knows how to be magically spaced. They built it themselves. Maybe there's a library we could piggyback off of, but so dynamic data formatter. What else? Maybe I'm not going to write docs yet because I don't have anything built, but yeah, I don't know. That's really the only thing. Figure out the formatter for this one thing and then figure out how to make that reusable. Then make that somehow magic. Obsidian is, yeah. So yeah, Obsidian is really cool. And so what's really cool about Obsidian is, check this out. Nope, I don't want that. I want into notes. So Obsidian over here on the left is automatically syncing this to GitHub, my own private repository. And then I have all of my notes in Obsidian, the same exact structure over there. So let me come to projects, dev, fluxctl, readme. Look at the bullet points I just added. They're freaking inside of Neovim, and it's amazing. It's amazing. And so I can take my notes in Neovim if I want. Let me just add a new bullet point. Try not to be so cool when streaming this project. Little arm emoji. I don't know, arm. There we go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't, hang on. I don't want to. The heck is test? Cool. Backup. Cool. Push that to GitHub from Neovim, and Obsidian will just pull that. I don't know, like 10 seconds. It like syncs fairly-ish, quickly-ish. So I can take all my notes in Neovim from any repo. If I go back to fluxctl, from here, I have a hotkey that lets me search all of my Obsidian notes. You know, they're in some other folder. They're not in my fluxctl, but it lets me search all of this stuff by file name. So I can do flux, readme, and there's just by the file name. And I get a little preview of the file, so I can go right to it. Whoops, that didn't work. There. So I'm in fluxctl. I'm in Neovim that's inside of fluxctl, and I still get this file. And here's all my other, buffers and everything. So I'm still in my fluxctl project. Or I can grep all of my notes. I don't care about the titles. I'm looking for a specific content. What did I try not to be so cool. Like searching for content. I can search for App dynamics stuff, just like any notes I've ever taken ever. And then I can like search through all these examples, go to the thing, right? It's just really cool. And all the notes that I take, I can push up and they'll sync with Obsidian. Obviously I can't view this in Neovim, right? But it's really cool. I'm really liking using Obsidian because even if I just took my notes in Obsidian, at least I can search and reference and copy paste out of Obsidian from where I'm doing my coding, right? Which is super cool. So anyway, I'm on a Obsidian note-taking journey. It's been really fun. Taking notes has been really great. I don't know. I don't usually take notes and I'm just learning. I'm stupid. I have to take some notes, right? Just have to. So anyway, any questions? If you're not a Go dev or a programmer at all, hopefully you followed along with like the mission of what this project is. This is out on GitHub right now. Let me do something like GCB command get. I don't know if I want to do that. Are you a GoDev or a GoDaddy? Thank you. Which is more your domain? Well, considering how many children I have, probably GoDaddy. Definitely. Add get API command. No, I better stick with my cool. Push. Okay. So this is all up in GitHub, like I said, if you want to just like peek or poke. I have no idea where my GitHub went. So fluxctl. It's out here. If you want to look at it, super cool. Yeah, it's all already public. This is just an idea I had. I wanted to bash out some of my ideas, and I am hoping to get some camaraderie around this idea. I think this is really something that Flux is missing, and I hope some people agree and maybe help me out. I'm about to have some kids, so I'm like, had this really cool idea. I'm super jazzed about it, and then I'm gonna fall off the earth for a while because I'm having twins. So yeah, so I just want to get this out there. Thanks for sticking along, chit-chatting. There's been some new chatters. It's been great. I've got a Discord. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. I don't know. Did it post any links out here? I'll have to get a link to it. Let me find it. But I live on Twitter and Discord pretty much. I don't have anything else. It's been really great having deleted Facebook and Insta and all these other things. I posted that on Twitch, but so if you're on something else, let me post it here too. That should post everywhere. Yeah, come hang out. We don't do much, just a bunch of nerds. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'm very excited. So Jess, I don't know if you were here when I was talking about the pod mic. Here we go. I'm going to get this, I think, and the Rodecaster. Rodecaster Duo. I think I'm gonna get both of these. I'll put the little guy here and the big boy here. The problem is gonna be like getting this to work between two computers the way that I want. If you don't know anything about mixers, I'm gonna have to connect 2 cables from this mixer to each computer. So I'll get a USB hub that's got some USB ports and then 2 USB-C ports. And that box is going to be plugged into both computers. So I press a button and it like switches which computer it's tied to. Because, for example, if I want all the audio, like the music that you're hearing, if I played a YouTube video or something, I want all of that sound from my computer to route to the mixer. And then I want the mixer to output that to my speakers. So that's cool. And then I want a second channel, like the second USB port will be just for my audio to go to the computer. So for example, if I get this mixer inside of OBS, I will let the mixer do the filtering. And on this interface, it's my mic and the computer audio and the sound panel and all that stuff. That'll get sent to OBS. But if I'm just on like a Teams call for work, I only want it to be my mic. I don't want my computer sounds to go through that interface. So I'm gonna have to have 2 separate cables plugged in to do that, I think. I've watched a bunch of videos and they explain that. But I need both cables talking to both computers. So I'm gonna have to go through this weird, expensive USB switch that has USB-C for all the things. So yeah, because I mean, I would want to use the mic on my work computer too. Just, I don't like to switch. I have this microphone, my fancy keyboard. Let's do this. I don't know if I can pull up I've got the Moonlander, the oven mitts. I've got my microphone, keyboard, one of my cameras, and my mouse. All plugged into a 4-port USB switch. And then when I press a button, all of those devices switch computers and back. It's really great. But if I get this mixer, that's going to be more ports. So I found something on Amazon that's 3 USB ports and 2 USB-C ports that all can switch between 2 computers. So the Rodecaster Duo will be both USB-C ports, and then I'll have keyboard, mouse, 1 webcam. So I'll still use all the ports. This is the 4th USB port, but it will be through the mixer being USB-C. So that, I found a USB switch that will have everything that I need if I get this. And I think if the stars align, this should all just work, right? And then I can play sounds on the mixer during a stream, and like you guys would hear Spotify at a certain volume, but I can turn it up and down just for me. I'm just really jazzed to be able to play with something like this. Another reason I want to get something like this is to help at church, right? Churches have like these massive soundboards. I am clueless when it comes to this stuff. So it'd be kind of fun to just practice on a really small scale at my desk. When I lived in Illinois, we went to a really big church, and man, they had like 3 cameras, 3 or 4 cameras. And so OBS had like hundreds of scenes, but I was able to like figure all that out because I stream and I have scenes, and I don't use a lot of scenes while I stream because I'm a loser, but I understand the concept and how overlays work in streams. And they had a stream deck, to help out with that and stuff. And one of the cameras we controlled with an Xbox controller. It was super fun. But yeah, like church was kind of like a production. You're switching between cameras, and while one camera is hot, you're changing the angle of another one, and then you can switch back to it and all this stuff. So I got the scenes down, and I was able to help out with the computer stuff and the streaming, but never the soundboards, because that's just not a world I've ever been in. Everything I've ever done is digital in a program that gives you some presets, and that's it. So I'm excited to learn more, to help out at church some more, which is kind of funny. But anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. But yeah, I'm excited to get some of this stuff. I might get a new microphone arm. This one sucks. Every time I move, you might be able to hear it clunk around. It really sucks. It's like a $15 mic arm. It's terrible. but I don't know if I want it from Rode, but there are some that like have the clips for your XLR cable, sort of keep it all nice and neat. So probably get a mic arm as well for that, but we'll see when I get it, because I'm gonna have kids soon and I won't be streaming probably. But if the streaming picks up once I'm done with the kiddos, once things are sort of schedulable, then I'll pull the trigger on getting this stuff and get it all set up and get all nice and purdy. So, all right, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Thanks so much. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I love to chit chat on all the things. Twitter DMs are kind of weird. That's why I would much rather add someone on Discord, because Twitter DMs to me are really like clunky. I just don't enjoy talking to people on Twitter via DMs. So if you want to chat and you have Discord, you can add me. I'm Tech Dufus on all the things. Discord, Twitter, OnlyFans, it all. So yeah. That's it. I'm gonna go, but have a good night, everybody. Enjoy the tea and coffee. I really appreciate all the new people that came in and everyone that had questions. I'm glad Jeff Key dropped, so he stopped asking questions about this. Worst PM ever. Oh, and then I can use the same studio monitors, mic, headphones, etc. on both computers. Yeah, so one of the things about the Rodecaster is it does Bluetooth, and apparently I could Bluetooth my headphones to the Rodecaster, the mixer. But someone that said when they did that, if they were on just like a meeting call, they're not streaming, they're just on a meeting, there's like a bad delay with when they talk versus when they actually hear it, and that just sounds terrible to me. So I'll probably have to still deal with when I switch computers. There is still some stuff that's manual. I have to change the inputs on my monitors, push all the buttons, and then switch Bluetooth on my headphones between computers. I'm used to that. But I just hope the stuff with the mixer, with the audio and the sources just stay, and all the programs just, because when you push the button, it's like the mixer's not even plugged in to that computer, right? So those audio sources go away, whatever they're going to be called, Rodecaster 1 and Rodecaster 2, whatever it's called. So when I switch back to it and those sources become available, I just hope all my apps like Teams and Discord and everything just repicks the ones that I said to use from before. Otherwise things will get really annoying because I switch between my computers a lot. So yeah, anyway, would you mind dropping the playlist you had on stream? Oh yeah, cool. Someone's asking what's the album that I used. So it's literally, well, I'll just pull it up. Stream Beats by Harris Heller. He's great. Let me zoom in. Stream Beats. Harris Heller's the guy. Stream Beats is like his music company that he like hides music behind, but it's all not copyright, and it's amazing. He has so much music. Everything that Harris Heller and or Stream Beats pumps out is copyright free. You can use it anywhere, YouTube videos, whatever. So this is the specific album. I would just shuffle all of his stuff, but he has like Christmas themed stuff, and then lo-fi, and then stage, which is kind of just, I don't know, different. But I like the lo-fi stuff, low key. This one's kind of poppy. Gumdrop. No, this isn't the one I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of... Is that all the Stream Beats I have? No, here's another one. White. Well, you just have to search for Stream Beats. Sus. What's this one? But these are all albums. And then each album is like... All the music is kind of very similar themed. And then... If you like this, it's got a whole album called Sus, and it's all sort of similarly sounding music. But oh, here's all the old stuff. This one I think is lo-fi type. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, stream beats. Maybe I'll share this in Discord too. Someone asked me on Discord. So that's why I'm talking about it, but there you go. Okay. I'm going to bed. I'm pooped. I'm still drinking caffeine, but I'll still go to bed right away. My wife gets mad because I can just like go to sleep, which is amazing, but she can't. And she gets mad because I just will fall asleep immediately. So it's a superpower, I guess. But anyway, yeah, again, thanks for everyone that's been here and tuned in and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to bed. I'll see you next time, whenever that is. I have no idea. Who knows? Could have kids tomorrow. I don't know. So yeah, have a good one. I'll see you around. Reach out if you need something. I love to chit chat. So peace out.